The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
And our stock of the day is Iluka Resources. This after its shares have plunged today. I'd make a bit of a comeback, but nonetheless, as I speak, down about 7%. That's on the withdrawal of its guidance for synthetic rutile, citing uncertainty stemming from the acquisition of Venator Materials UK, its titanium dioxide. The company is currently in discussions with its customers regarding their offtake obligations, acknowledging the impact of global economic uncertainty on the pigment market demand. But more broadly, we have seen a significant sell-off in the rare earth players, given there's a lot going on in that space, clearly, with China having dominated the market and that ongoing trade dispute between China and the US. Jonathan, let's start with you. What are you seeing with Iluka?
It's definitely volatile periods for the whole rare earth space. I was looking at some of the names like Arafura, that jumped up 60% in less than a week. Iluka itself, I think it was up 25%, and it's one of the larger players in that space. So the way I see it is that we have trading conditions in this space. It's kind of like the hot sector at the moment. So you have to be kind of active within there. It's not, I wouldn't start looking longer term for these, because obviously, we're at the whims of what Trump just says. He came out, I think it was like a Friday night a week ago, talked about tariffs on China. They're really, really bad. And then before the market opened on the Monday, he said, we're best friends again. So that's the kind of market conditions you have. So that being said, you could have just bought some Iluka on the open this morning and you'd be up like 5 or 6% already. So for me, trading conditions, I'm looking to buy. If it tests that $7 level again over the next day or two, I'm happy to buy some and hold for another run up, because I think Trump could say something again and send it higher. I noticed as well. We started trading the US markets. There was a US antimony play. We were trying to buy the breakout. It dropped 30% almost day after, and then if we didn't hold it, we took profits up 30%, but then it shot up another 70% 2 days after. So that's the kind of volatility that we're experiencing. Great for traders, not so much for investors.
Yeah.
So I am a buy, but it's more like a trading setup buy.
Ben?
Yeah, it's
you are an investor, not a trader.
Yeah, so it's unsurprisingly not an area we're in. It's like my only take on it is, if you look on fundamentals, these businesses have got so expensive, but fundamentals might not actually be worth looking at, because if the US government does, and I think it's actually quite likely, guarantee prices, provide capex to get projects into production, all those sort of things, maybe they're not as expensive as we think they are. We know they're strategically important, but how do you put a value on what that is worth to a shareholder or to the business? It probably does mean these companies, like this is kind of reminding me of the lithium boom. And what we saw then was companies were able to raise much more money than they otherwise would have been. And we got offered this morning to buy into ASM, which has been one of the ones that went. $1.20 capital raising, they're raising 50 mil, traded at $1.60 yesterday. So I don't know how you put all that together. It's impossible to know what the profitability of these projects is going to look like. Lynas is the only one that is in production, and if I was in anything, it would be in Lynas, because I think that's the one that is strategically the most important asset. But where it goes from here, I think Trump really will. I can see the US doing something here. I think they're making all the noises, but how do you value that in a stock? It's too hard.
Yeah, true. Iluka's not slated to production till 2027, so it's still a while away in terms of their rare earths. So, as Ben said, it's so tough to invest there for the long term to try and find that value. That being said, Trump does want to bring everything back. And it was actually the US military that actually were first to tell Trump, or actually tell previous leaders, that they can't actually fight a war with China because China controls so much of the supply chains. So I think in like some of the anode materials, they control 99% of the production. Rare earths, they're up around the 80s, and a lot of them are needed for the batteries and actual munitions. So you can't fight a war if you can't actually build enough weapons. So so that being said, trading market, expect more volatility.
So an avoid from you at this point.
Yeah, it would be. Not because I don't see the logic in owning some of these companies. I do, but
too many unknowns.
It's just so hard to know what you should be paying for them, and you could wake up tomorrow and these stocks are all down 30 or 40%. It's easy.
All right. Well, you need to make your own decision at home. So that is an avoid and a buy for our stock of the day, Iluka Resources.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.